Are you afraid to move? Are you scared to move?
Nuh-uh.
You probably are. You know, I put this question into my Facebook group and the group answered this and it was crazy the amount of responses that I got. I asked, are you scared to move? And if so, why? And I'm going to go through this in today's video and answer a lot of these questions. We're going to talk a little bit about it so that hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to have a much better feel and not feel so scared when you're getting ready to sell your home. So let's get into it. So as I said, I got a lot of comments. And what I did is I kind of took them all and I kind of put them into groupings about different categories. And the first category was that I found a lot of people were afraid of regretting their choice, like regretting where they were going to move. So like, what if they made the wrong decision? What if they chose the wrong location? What if they never felt at home again? Like, what if this is the very last place that ever made them feel like they were in a real home? Am I really ready to let go of the memories that I've made in this home? Now, these questions are very hard for me to answer, and tell you everything's going to be absolutely fine. But what I know is I've moved lots and lots of people and, homes are meant to be. I know that sounds probably a little bit like, I don't know, pithy a little bit, but homes are meant to be. And when I'm working with a buyer and we lose out on offers, maybe it's a multiple offer, or they didn't get the house or something didn't work out, I'll just say to them, homes are meant to be. And they're like, yeah, whatever. We really wanted that house. And I said, well, you know what? That's not the house where you're supposed to raise your family. And on the other hand, what I end up seeing with sellers who have had their homes on the market kind of a long time, and I'll say to them, obviously your buyers are still out there and they haven't found this home, the one that they're going to raise their family in. Again, I know you're like, whatever, but it's really true. Homes are meant to be. So wherever your next phase of life really takes you, I know that it's meant to be. And the people who are moving into your home, I know it's meant to be. The way you can really kind of avoid this regret, making the wrong decision, is by starting early. Now, I am congratulating you because you're here and you're watching this video, and maybe you've watched a lot of my other videos. But the way to really know how you're going to get through this process unscathed is to start really, really early. And I talked to some people 5 years, 10 years is kind of a lot, but I still have people who are watching my channel who are 10 years out from moving. And the reason why is because they want to be prepared. And so the very first thing I can say to you is get prepared and sell with strategy. Now, the way you're going to do that is you're going to download my free seller's playbook. I've already had this downloaded over 20,000 times. And for those of you who have loved the book, who just think it's great, because I've heard from you, I am actually writing a full book on it. So I hope to have that out hopefully by the end of the year. But the playbook's free. It's a 40-page plus book for you. And it's got 5 different pillars about how you get your home ready to sell. The very, very first pillar is sell with strategy. I want to make sure that you are focused on planning. It's going to ask you a lot of questions on what you can do to get your home ready. How can you sell it easily? What if not everybody's on board? Things like that. So I want to make sure you download that. And you can also jump into my Facebook group as well and ask me some other questions. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to talk to some of your friends and see, how did they manage it? What did they feel? Were they timid? Were they scared? And kind of what got them through it as well. So make sure you open up to them and kind of be honest with what you're feeling. The second kind of grouping of questions that I had was people are afraid to lose control. And this is a big one, especially for people who kind of think they know it all. And so they're kind of barreling into it. They're like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to list it by owner. I'm going to do all these things. I know the agent I'm going to choose. I know what people are looking for. But they're really on the inside afraid of losing control, which is why they're so kind of out there, like pounding on it. What if the sale falls through right before you're ready to close? How do I organize a move when I'm doing it alone and I'm doing it all by myself? How can I possibly manage 2 mortgages if the sale and the purchase don't line up? How can I buy a home and sell a home on the same day? How do we actually afford 2 homes? What if I'm too old or too tired to handle this much stress? What if I can't do this alone? What if my spouse does not agree to sell, but we really, really need to? And where do I even begin? I have so much stuff. So all of these questions kind of go into the buying and selling at the same time and the timing. And this is really what I would say is probably kind of the most stressful thing, is the buying and the selling at the same time. I hate to tell you it's stressful. But because you're here, it's going to be less stressful. Like, I hate talking about how traumatic selling a home can be. It's traumatic when you don't plan. You're here, so you're planning, so you're going to be in good shape. But the buying and the selling of a home can be very, very difficult. Now, the reason is because you have to know where you're going to go first, okay? So if there are no homes out there that you like that fit what you're looking for, you cannot sell. Bottom line, you have to start looking first before you can list your home. And the problem is that maybe you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home close to town with a 2-car garage under $500,000. Well, there might not be any homes actually like that. Not just that one didn't come on the market, but there literally may not be that housing stock. So you have to start early by kind of looking around to see what homes are on the market, what price they're selling for, and what do these homes look like on the inside. Now, I do recommend jumping into a couple of open houses early on to kind of see, what does 2,500 square feet mean to me? Or what does 1,200 square feet mean? I want you to understand all these things before you decide you're going to move. Now, the next thing is that you have to figure out how you're going to pay for a house when you have a house and most of your equity is in your home. I'm going to suggest that if you need to get a mortgage, you've got to talk to a mortgage broker early. And the reason why is because if you do not actually have income, income, it doesn't mean you have to have a job, but you have to have some type of income, you may not qualify for a loan. And the bridge loans that used to be in the past where you could just take a bridge loan out of the equity in your house and put it in the down payment on your new home, that may not be possible. So again, we're talking like 2 years out. I want you to start thinking about this. I want you to start researching what homes are out there. I want you to figure out how you're going to pay for it. Now, if you have to buy and sell on the same day because you cannot get a loan, you're going to pull the cash out of your home and you're going to put it into your new one. That can be very difficult. And you're going to say to me, well, the buyers are just going to let me rent back. And then that's how I can close a week early and then I can go and purchase another home. Most of the time, the buyers will not allow you to do that. Now, the way they will allow you to do that is if you have your home priced really low. If you really, really, really want a rent back, I want you to come in with a very low price, make it easy on yourself, make it simple. You're going to get multiple offers and somebody, if you tell them you want a rent back, will give you a rent back. Now, this is not going to happen if you're looking for a high price with the best terms for yourself. It's probably not going to work. But if you're like, I have to have a rent back, you're going to price that property low and you're going to get multiple offers to come in and help you sell and then close maybe a month later. So the main answer to this question about losing control is to actually find a great agent who can guide you through the process and the conversations. You guys know, if you've been watching me, I talk a lot about how there are really a lot of bad agents out there. And I don't mean they're bad people. I mean, they're just not super experienced. And I do get a lot of agents who watch me who say, well, how am I supposed to get experience if you're telling people not to use me because I'm not experienced? Well, you need to figure that out. Really, it means they need to join a team. They need to get a mentor. They need to co-list, things like that. But the reality is that there are a lot of agents out there, to you sellers, who look like they might be good, but they do not have enough experience. I am telling you, every day I get people emailing me asking about their listing. And I got one today. She sent me the pictures and the pictures are not very good. The price is higher than she wanted. It was her agent's recommended price. She's listed, right? So it's a little too late, but I went and I looked and her agent only has sold about 30 homes in the last 5 years, which is not enough to understand the market. When I'm talking about agents who understand the market, those agents are selling somewhere between 20 and 30 homes in a year. My kind of rule of thumb when I'm looking at agents is 150 homes in the past 5 years. I really feel like at 150 homes, they've had a really good chance of getting some great experience because when I'm working on a deal, just happened today, I learn something new on every single transaction. And I've done thousands of them, and every single one is different. The only way in this industry to become a great agent is to continue to do the work and to know when you've made a mistake or when you could have managed the process different. You can choose an agent who doesn't have as much experience, but you're not going to get the advice that an experienced agent is going to give you. So the person who reached out, their price is too high. I told them they need to drop it down because she really wants to sell. And that agent probably did not ask that seller, is it most important to you to sell now? Or is getting an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 most important? And in her email, she told me it's most important for her to get out. And a lot of agents don't know how to ask that question who aren't super experienced. So all of these fears that all these people have can be resolved with a great agent. It's really, really hard to find those agents. I don't want you just to be relying on a friend or a family member or somebody you've known for many years. I want you to really dig in and do your research. And again, in my seller's playbook, there is actually the criteria, the 5 criteria that I want you to be looking at in order to know that you've got a great agent. In addition, there are questions in there that you can ask to determine what kind of an agent they are. And in reality, I'm going to tell you, the one thing that you need to know when you're talking to your agent is, are they willing to walk away from their commission? Will they put your profits over their paycheck? That's really important. But the problem is that you're not going to know it. And you don't know it because you don't know what it's like to be in my position. And so an agent who puts your profits over their paycheck, that agent is somebody who will not take an overpriced listing. That agent is somebody who doesn't just agree with what you say. That agent is somebody who pushes back a little bit on what you're talking about. That agent is not the one who always makes you feel good. These are all things you need to understand. But that agent, a serious, focused agent with experience, knows that if you overprice your house, you are leaving money on the table. Does this agent put your profits over their paycheck? That is the main thing to know. I do refer out agents. We've referred out a lot of agents. We don't always pick the right ones, okay? Because we're starting with experience. Like, that's how we're starting, is we're choosing the ones with the best experience, the most experience. And then we're looking to see, their listing photos, their honesty, their authenticity, their team structure, their marketing. We're looking at all this stuff, but what we don't really always know is their bedside manner. And sometimes some of the agents that we refer might be a little too busy and maybe rub the sellers the wrong way, or they have a different personality profile. So that's why we're sending 2 to 3 agents to you, is because a lot of this is about your gut. But in the end, this agent has to be willing to put your profits over their paycheck. Bottom line, honestly, the great agents out there, they will do that. They will walk away and they will tell you the truth when you're doing something to hurt yourself. So in the fear of losing control, honestly, you have to give control over to somebody who is experienced to help walk you through that process. I know that's not a great answer, but that is the best answer in this situation. Another question that kind of came through is the fear of financial fallout. Like, are you selling at the right time? How much money are you making on the sale? What should you do about spending money on updates and getting the house ready? What about interest rates? Are they going up? Are they going down? Is that going to affect it? What is your market doing specifically? What if the market gets flooded with homes and it crashes? What if you put your home on at the wrong time of the year? When should you put your home on? All of these questions tie back into how much money you're going to make when you go to sell your home. And again, the best solution for this is to do your research early. Okay, you've got to get engaged in the process early. So for all of you out there who are saying that your spouse or maybe your family members just are not ready for you to move, it can never be too soon. Like, it can never be too soon to start doing your research, looking at homes, talking to a lender, and understanding your market at a deep level. And again, I'm going to resort back to this. If you have a great agent partner in your network who you feel good about, who you feel like is kind of like me. Like, if you're watching me, you like me, you feel that I'm honest with you and you can trust me. There are agents in your community who are like that. And you've got to find that person, because that person is going to be honest with you. And remember, is going to put your profits over their paycheck. And so that agent will be able to guide you on when the best time to go on the market is. What is the best price for you to go on the market? And will become that consultant and that partner. Now, the fourth one that people were really talking about was fear of judgment. And this is a big one. Like, a lot of people in my Facebook group, they're very concerned about their presentation to the market. How does their home look? They're embarrassed. Maybe it's not updated. They don't want an agent coming through their house to look at it. They think their furniture is terrible, or they have not maintained the home. Maybe you have too much stuff. Maybe you're kind of in a hoarder situation and you don't even know where to start. Gosh, I feel for you guys, like, truly. When I go into somebody's home and I sit down with them, I feel very honored that they've allowed me into their personal space and their personal relationship, because I get to see a lot of stuff that they would not show their best friends or their neighbors. And so I've seen a lot, and whatever situation you are in, I've seen worse. Now, if you have worse than this, maybe I haven't seen worse, but I was invited to this house. It was a townhome. I went in, the guy came to the door. He was probably in his 70s. I came to the door, and literally, I swear, to God, there was a walkway from the door around to the kitchen, and it went around and then up the stairs and then just into the bedroom and one bathroom. The stuff was 4 feet, and there was only a walkway. And he had about 50 bags of golf clubs in his kitchen. So I felt for him. But he was able to reach out to his family. He was able to get professional help as well. And he did eventually clear it out and sell it. Now, in order to get out of your home stress-free for the most amount of money, you're going to have to be a little bit vulnerable, and you're going to have to find people who you can trust. You're going to have to start early, like I'm saying. Ideally, you get your agent in, but if you're feeling like I can't even have an agent in, it's just too messy, it's not ready, I want you to start slow. I want you to do one room at a time. I have my decluttering video, which you can go and watch. It kind of talks about, no one wants your stuff. It's hard to stay motivated, but I really want you to start slow. Again, this goes back to you need to start early. But I don't want you to be worried about having an agent in who's going to give you judgment. Because like I said, whatever you have, I've seen worse. And I want you just to start thinking about that. Again, you got to plan early, but if you start 5 years early, you've got a lot of stuff, just know you're going to have to let people in order to get out. Now, kind of the last question that came up was really the fear of letting go. What if I can't emotionally detach from this home? How do I say goodbye to the home where I raised my children? What if I'm not ready to give up on home ownership? These are very big questions, and it's hard for me as an agent to help you, but in my seller questionnaire that I send to all my sellers before I go to an appointment with them, I ask them and I say, what are you looking for from us? And, it'll say like responsiveness, it'll say access to Kati, it'll say staging help, and then there's a box that says therapist. Very experienced agents know that we have to become therapists. In reality, I would say I used to not be super empathetic. Like I just kind of move forward and bang it out. But this job has really made me become very empathetic and understanding. And so by finding that right partner, you're going to be in a position where you can talk to that agent. That agent should be empathetic to you. And once you get your home ready to sell, I will tell you, the home actually becomes like a clean slate because your home kind of becomes no longer yours. So in the process and the time that it takes for you to kind of go from start to end, it is a natural progression where your home is just not going to feel like yours anymore. And it is a slow process and it is natural, but it will happen. And what I want to say to you is going back to what I said in the beginning is that homes are meant to be. If you're going to a home that's, smaller or downsizing, maybe you're in the later stages of your life where this might be your last place, it's still, homes are meant to be. And as you leave your home, I want you to think about the joy and the love that a new family is going to have in your home. I want you to think of all the memories that you've had there. And I want you to be excited for all the new memories that will be there and what you are giving to a new family that's coming in to take care of your home the way that you cared for it yourself. So it's okay to grieve. I know, this is kind of a rambling video. I don't know how many of you are still there, but I think it's important because the fear of the unknown, the fear of not having a place to call home, the fear of losing your memories is hard. I see it every day with sellers. I think that my best advice to you is take it slow. Start early. Make sure you get the right partner, the right consultant. If you feel like you've chosen the wrong agent, I want you to go out and get the right agent because that'll make all the difference. I want you to feel like you have an agent on your side like I am with you guys right now. And they are out there. I know they are. There are thousands and thousands of great agents out there. So I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to embrace the future. I want you to know homes are meant to be. And I want you to know your home is meant for that new family to come in and care for it and love it just the way you did.